right, welcome to Marvel's Runaways Q&A. Woo! As I said, this is a Q&A, so you guys are required to ask questions. We do have a audience mic manned by the one, the only Elgin. So just come on, line on up, and he will be there to help you out with everything. But enough about that. Let's get these wonderful actors on this stage so we can begin this right now. You guys ready for that? Yeah! All right. I want to welcome to the stage Mr. Geoffrey Wilder, Brian Sands. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know her as Carolina Dean, Virginia Gardner. And last but not least, you know him as Chase Stein, Gregg Sulkin. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for talking with us today. Wait, let's all check the mics. Are we on?
It's on. It's on.
Happy with Matthew Marshall.
Testing. All right.
Ooh, you're on. It's yours? Ah, we are live. We are live and we are hot. Awesome. Are you guys enjoying Miami so far? Have you even seen Miami at all?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Window, the hotel window.
I got a Cuban sandwich today for lunch. Doing Miami right so far.
Yeah, Ginny and I and a few friends went to explore Miami last night.
Went to South Beach last night.
As you do, you know, we're tourists at the end of the day, so we had fun.
Oh, awesome, awesome. All right, guys, you guys have any questions? Because if not, I'll start asking questions. I'm a giant fan of the show myself, so come on up, don't be shy.
Hi, my name is Lena, and my question's for Gregg. How do you feel about the relationship between Chase and Gert? And what do you think is going to happen in season 2? Like, are we going to see angst, or are they actually going to be together? Or?
I'm a big fan of Chase and Gert. I am a big fan of Gert's character, first off. I think, especially now, I think she's a very important character for young women to look up to. And also, I think that also a character for young men to learn from, also. And I think in season 2, who knows? I hope that they stay together, although Chase and Karolina had a good, episode and a half.
We don't count that, kids.
Sorry. But yeah, no, I mean, Ariel is a sweetheart, and I hope, I think the great thing about season 1, from my point of view and my character, was the fact that I got to share this beautiful relationship with that character. So I hope that continues for sure.
Thank you.
Aww.
Thanks, Ginny.
Hi. So the old lace was a practical effect, and I was wondering what acting alongside something like that was.
It was so easy because it's this incredible dinosaur that looks and it breathes and it feels so real when you're working with it that you almost forget it's like a puppet. It's incredible in person. It's so cool.
Okay, and my introduction to Old Lace caught me off guard, big time. We had a night shoot, and I was rehearsing my scene. I'm kind of going over my lines and figuring out what I wanted to do. And I just happened to look down, and the light caught Old Lace's head. Like somebody had they just set her down for a second. And I had no idea what that was. And I kind of, I jumped, and the director's calling me like, okay, Ryan, let's go. I'm like, no, I need a second. I need to compose myself again. But it's easy to buy that's a dinosaur in front of you.
Thank you.
And a fun fact for those who don't know, when we shot the pilot, we were obviously very excited because Old Lace hadn't come in, right? Until episode, when did Old Lace come into the show? 3, 4? Okay, but we knew that there was a dinosaur going to come into, Old Lace was coming in hot. So she basically they spent a lot of money on this dinosaur, and we were hearing about how long it was taking and how much money they put into it. And then on the first day of shooting, the rehearsals went great. Old Lace was in fine form, and then they said action, and I think I was the first actor to work with Old Lace, me and Ariella, and they said action, and I could just see like all the producers' faces just like drop. Like Old Lace just unfortunately hadn't been fed and was not working. So yeah, and then they kind of told her that she'd be fired if she didn't make it. So anyway, now she's all right.
Hi. What scenes did you all enjoy filming the most?
I mean, personally, I loved all my stuff with Nico because she's amazing. So all my stuff with Nico was awesome, and then my other favorite scene was the one where I actually got to fly with Chase, just because flying was so much fun, and being in the harness, and I had like a whole flight rehearsal beforehand too, and learned how to work with the wires and the ropes and stuff, and that was just like, shooting that scene was such a special experience. It was so cool.
I think for me, working with my dad, James, on the show has been so much fun. He is such an... by the way, James sort of like does these conventions a lot, and so if you ever see him, give him a huge hug. But he is such an interesting character. I love him with all of my heart. He's like quite introverted, and he puts all of his passion and commitment into acting. And so to act in a scene with somebody like that is actually incredible. Because obviously, to be honest, we have a lot of fun on the show, probably too much fun. We should concentrate a little bit more. So James, for me, keeps me in check and is like going through the scenes in great depth, asking me why I'm walking this way or breathing a certain way. So yeah, I love, for me, it's James for sure.
Yeah, and Gregg hit it right on the head. We have fun. We have fun on our set. So I had to really think about, man, what was my favorite scene? I think my favorite scene though is probably episode like the end of 9 and the beginning of 10, our standoff with the Runaways in a straight line and the Pride in a straight line, because that was not only was it the culmination of this whole season, the secrets are out, she's glowing, he's got fistigons, there's a dinosaur, and so all of, Molly's eyes are glowing, so there's so many, everything is there, and me being, I'm a nerd. I love comic books, and that was the ultimate comic book standoff right there, so that had to be my favorite.
Thank you.
There it is, exactly, right?
All right, so we know you have fistigons and you get to like fly and do all of that stuff. Is there anything you would switch? Like, would you prefer to have Old Lace or Molly's powers or anything like that?
Go ahead. All right. Definitely have Old Lace. Like, who wouldn't want like a giant monster, but like the most beautiful monster on the planet next to you? Like, you would go into any fight thinking you would win. And so definitely. And also, by the way, Old Lace, something about Old Lace, she actually feels very nice. And that sounds a bit creepy. But she's very soft and smooth, and it's just, she's beautiful.
Definitely Old Lace. Old Lace is so badass. I would love to have Old Lace. I also just love animals, so to be able to like communicate with an animal is like my dream. So Old Lace for sure.
Thank you.
Hi, Ryan. I saw you on the AfterBuzz and Marvel Movie News on YouTube. So
Cool.
This is awesome.
Thank you.
My question's for Carolina and Gregg. How intense was it to film the whole drunken party, your fight with the guys? How intense was that scene to film?
It was definitely pretty tense, and I think we handled it with a lot of sensitivity, and our female showrunner, Steph, was there that day too. So having her there obviously made everyone, and me especially, feel really safe. And then the guys on their side of it handled it really with so much care, and were always asking if I was okay. And to watch Gregg kick ass was a lot of fun, and he looked great while doing it. So it was handled with a lot of sensitivity on set, but in like a really great way. It was one of the first scenes I shot for the show actually, but it was it was handled in the best way possible, and our director, Brett Morgan, was great at making sure I was comfortable the whole time.
Yeah, it was a team effort, for sure.
Hi, I want to say congratulations on getting renewed. I'm really excited for the new season. I wanted to know what would you guys like to see for the new season? New characters or new plot twists?
No more night shoots,
Okay.
but I think we're going to have a lot of them, unfortunately.
I think where we leave off with the as it pertains to the pride is kind of in shambles right now. You know, the Wilders have kind of, you know, separated themselves. Victor's in a box. Tina just learned that Leslie's responsible for her, you know, basically responsible for her daughter dying. I mean, so we are not a cohesive unit. And then there's this powerful Jonah character looming over us, and we want our kids back. So I'm really interested to see how all of that is going to culminate. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm excited to see. And the fact that now these guys are on the run. They're no longer in their Brentwood homes and on the, you know, literally on the run with the dinosaur. I'm like, what now? I don't know.
And one more thing, I wanted to know what are your predictions for season 2, like individually? What would you like?
Oh, like character-based?
You know, the showrunners, they don't tell us anything. Like, we're always so surprised. So I have no idea where it could go. I mean, I'm obviously just excited to finally be on the run and then be able to explore more of Karolina's, like, family history and where she comes from, and then also explore her relationship with Nico more and see where that leads for next season.
Yeah, I think for Chase, partly because I've sort of like nudged Josh and Stephanie offset to kind of do this. They probably won't listen to me, but Renzi, who plays Alex, who obviously Ryan's son on the show, he is the loveliest human being on the planet, and I think I would love him. He's actually a very, very close friend of mine, like even offset. And I've asked Josh and Stephanie to kind of like see if Chase and Alex can kind of become more like a team rather than like hating each other. So I hope that Renzi and I get to have some like bromantic moments. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
In season 2.
Thank you.
Hi there. Is this your first con, and would you guys like to come to more if it is?
Yeah, this is my first con, and absolutely. Yeah, this is it's a lot of fun, and I don't know why I haven't really attended any as a fan. I think because I wanted to be, as an actor, I knew that I wanted to be in a genre show so bad that maybe as a fan I might not enjoy it. It might stress me out. But yeah, this is a fun environment to be in. I'd love to come back.
This is my second. We did New York Comic Con earlier this year, which was a lot of fun. And yeah, it's amazing. I love meeting you guys and being able to answer your questions and interact. Is just, it's amazing. It's a lot of fun. And Miami's awesome, so.
Same? Okay.
Ditto.
One more question. Oh, no, behind you. Okay. If you could be like another Marvel character, like one of the bigger ones, like Captain America or whatever, would you like want something else? Like if you could be any other one, which would you be?
I think I'd take Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, just because I'm so bad at technology in my life. Like, my best mate, Brandon, is literally behind that curtain, and I call him over to do everything for me. When it comes to life and technology, like, he knows how to do stuff, and I hate wires. I don't like that stuff. So it would be nice just to walk into my house. Although, like, you know, you have that with, like, Alexa, you know, the Amazon Alexa thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like walk into your house and like things just snap on and you just like feel really cool. Like that's a dream of mine for sure.
I agree.
I'm a loser.
Me too.
I would say Iron Man as well, just because I think he's a total badass and he can fly too, and we all know how I feel about flying. So I would love to be Iron Man.
To be honest, it's a tie for me. My two favorite characters are Spider-Man and the Black Panther. So, yeah, it's a tie. One of those, the black Spider-Man Panther.
All right, thank you.
I've got a question for Ryan.
Yes, sir.
You really portrayed the, like, this is my son, I'm gonna do anything for him, really well on screen. Like, how real was that for you? Like, when you put yourself in that moment?
That aspect of Geoffrey's character is really my entryway into accessing who is Geoffrey Wilder. You know, I'm a very family-oriented guy. I don't have kids, but I'm very family-oriented. You know, it's not too much more important on this earth to me than family. So that is how I identify with Geoffrey. Geoffrey, yeah, he was a bad guy in the past, and yeah, he's a part of some people that did something crazy, and now they're paying for it, and they're doing it over and over again. But at the forefront of Geoffrey's mind is the safety of his kids. The safety of his kid and protecting his wife. So yeah, that humanizes him to me. So he's just not some guy who wears creepy and amazingly comfortable red robes and sacrifices teenagers, you know? So that's a fun part of the character to play.
That's the moment where you're just like, this is who he is, kind of.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
Thank you.
All right, man.
Hi. How do you guys like relate to your characters like in real life? Like, how would you relate to them? Like, do you like feel like you're them?
What was the last bit, sorry?
Would you like? Would you feel like you're like them? Like, would you really relate to them that much?
I'll take this one first. I do relate, well, yes and no. Obviously, one, I'm not from America, so that's the big one. Two is my parents in real life are the sweetest, most hardworking, like humble, cool, slightly weird parents, and so I have like a beautiful, healthy relationship with my family, whereas Chase unfortunately doesn't, and so that was hard. But again, James is such a good actor to where he kind of naturally brought my performance out, and I am actually scared of James. That's also a fun fact. When we first shot the pilot episode, there was a scene, it didn't make the cut, but Brett Morgan, our director, we were opposite. You know the first scene where Chase is seen, not the bicep scene, I can't believe I just called it the bicep scene. How lame is that? What was I saying? Yeah, so you know when they're sitting across on the table?
Yeah.
And Brett Morgan comes over to James and says, whispered something, and I knew something was going to happen, but I didn't know what. Obviously, he whispered it so that I didn't hear what the note was. So the scene happens. James freaks out, starts yelling at me, getting in my face, starts screaming at me, and my reaction, because obviously the director wanted to get like a reaction out of me, so I didn't know what to do. So he was like staring at me, so I literally just went, so I got my plate of food and I just threw it at James, and I was like, oh no. And from that moment I was like, okay, yeah, this actor can bring performances out in me. But yeah, so that's been difficult for sure, but not too difficult.
I'd agree with the parent thing. I have really lovely parents, so that obviously is a little bit tricky to wrap your head around. But other than that, I mean, I think I could relate to Carolina in that I went through a similar thing in like high school and in middle school, not really knowing who I was and not being honest about that. And then as I grew older, just being more and more comfortable in my own skin and kind of owning who I was. So I think I could really relate to Carolina in those aspects.
And I think for me, I guess it kind of ties back to the last question of being a very family-oriented guy and allowing that to kind of inform who Geoffrey is. You know, Geoffrey is serious about that school that we're building over that mysterious thing buried deep below Los Angeles. But for Geoffrey, that school is important. Geoffrey knows that he did a lot of craziness in his past, and he's trying to be a good guy and trying to basically atone. So the philanthropic part of the pride actually means something to Geoffrey. So in that way, I could relate to him. But it's fun. As the season progressed, I guess I started to as we're finishing, I'm like wanting to get started because I'm feeling like I'm understanding him more and more and more. So I'm like itching to get back to season 2, you know?
Thank you. Hello. Hi. So you all saw Civil War, right?
I didn't.
I haven't seen it yet either.
Sorry.
I know.
Well, in the comic, your characters get a whole arc during that era. God forbid. Anyway, I was two-parter. I'm curious. Given the experiences your characters went through, would they have been Team Captain America or Team Iron Man?
Me? Okay.
Ask Mr. Marvel over there. Brian loves anything to do with Marvel.
Well, seeing, okay, you said the characters?
Yeah, your characters,
Yeah, the
after everything
character.
they've been through, Cap or Iron
Yeah.
Man?
Well, I could see Geoffrey Wilder not wanting much to do with the authorities and registering with anybody. Having been, this close away from prison and having worn that orange jumpsuit. So I think he would have been Team Cap. Let's, hands off and less government interference and Team Cap.
You guys?
I feel like I'd be Iron Man then if he's captain.
I don't know. I would like to be both. Can I choose both?
The other, okay, the MCU is full of villains, and we're going to get an awesome one later this year. So if the Runaways could fight any villain from the MCU right now, who would it be?
That's tough because we're, the powers, like, I think we're just seeing the beginnings of Carolina's powers. I don't think, when we shot that scene, I think there might have been a bit that was out of it. Like there was a time when, or maybe I missed it, where Julian was like really like smiling at your display of power. Like he was like, yeah, this
He was like proud of it.
Yeah. So was that did that make it?
I think it was in.
Okay,
I think
maybe,
it was.
maybe that did make it, but I think we're just tapping into the extent of what her powers are. So maybe she could stand up to some of the MCU's villains. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think Carolina could take him.
I don't know if you guys know this, but there's an arc in the comics where the Runaways get tricked into fighting Frank Castle, the Punisher. So here's an interesting question. Do you guys think you could take John Bernthal?
Absolutely not.
Duh. I think I could take him.
Guy's a beast.
Thank you.
All right. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hi.
Oh, thank you. So since Disney both own Marvel and Star Wars, which Star Wars character would you guys think that you guys would be able to like team up with if those universes would ever to like cross over to each other?
So, Star Wars character to crossover with. Wow.
I wouldn't mind bringing like a badass into the Runaways team, like getting Darth Vader with us on the streets. It's dark. The lightsaber could help.
Can I pick R2D2? I'd like to hang out. Yeah, there we go.
I'd say I'm gonna say Han Solo. Because I think Geoffrey could respect him because Geoffrey believes with all of his heart that Han shot first. Yeah, so I think Han's resourceful. If he can't buy it, he'll steal it. So he's good to have on your team.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
I got to move it down a little bit. My question's for Virginia. Where did you get those shoes, the red ones?
They're from Ferragamo.
And that's what now? Like, where do I get the Amazon or?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
They're very comfortable and they're very soft to the touch too. I like to pet them sometimes. They're nice.
It was just time to wear red tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. What I love about the show was I'm a huge fan of the comic book, and watching the show, it fleshed out the parent story so much more than the comic book ever did. And that's what completely intrigued me, because I'm like, I want to know what's going on over here. And with the affairs and everything else going on, oh man, I was getting my popcorn. I was just sitting here. So for me, I love the turn it took away from the comic book, but still kept the voices of the characters true. I know a lot of actors tend to go and grab the comics and read before filming, and then a lot of actors don't like to do that because they don't want to be swayed to do anything. Like, especially if a remake of a movie or a TV show, they don't want to do an impersonation. They want to do their own character. What did you guys do? Did you guys read the comic books at all, or did you just say, hey, I'm going to make this my own thing and take off with it?
Yeah, I read all of Volume 1, and I didn't mean to. I knew from the breakdown of the characters, I knew what the audition was. I think the title was Untitled Marvel Project, but I knew based on the breakdown exactly where to go. And I just, I was afraid of, I knew enough that these are different writers, these are different creators, so their vision might be different from Brian K. Vaughan's initial vision. And I just didn't want to take away too much of what I saw initially. And when I went to opened up the app and started flipping, I started laughing when I saw Geoffrey, because, you know, it looks like me, exactly. But I just got roped into the story. I said, all right, I'm gonna read one comic, and I read like all of Volume 1 in a weekend. But it was a challenge to kind of just leave that alone and just focus on what the writers of the show gave us. And it was really a pleasant surprise to see that he's different. He starts kind of in the same place, but goes in very different ways.
Yeah, I think for me, we didn't know what the project was. We knew it was a Marvel-related project, but once I got the role, I decided to go to the gym, but more importantly, I decided to I did some background research onto the role and the show, but I didn't want to get caught into that trap of like playing what I think, or what I thought the role would be. So I waited until we got picked up, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna be asked questions about this. I sort of need to know. So yeah, I think overall, thankfully, we have two very good showrunners who, like Ryan said, they've diverted this and expanded this story just outside of what is seen in the comics.
I know the story is kind of diverging, but I personally, as a fan of both, I believe that each and every one of you have like captured the voice, the character, and kept true to it. So I was just very, very impressed with that, because everyone's totally true to the character, and that's what I really appreciated. So I didn't know if maybe there was research in that, or if that was the writers and just the choices, you know, like you so happened to make the right choices, because it, to me, it was completely spot on. So I just wanted to give you guys that. Hey, okay. So, we have questions. You guys shouldn't raise your hands. I'm getting caught up in over here.
So normally when we get superhero movies, we get adults as superheroes. And if we do get kids in some sort of superpower, it's away from the parents. The parents don't know. Aunt May is, you know, doesn't know anything. How does it feel to be playing characters that are actually kind of showing kids to stand up to their parents if it is that they think that their parents are doing something wrong?
I think it's really special, and I think that we need it today more than ever, too, and it's kind of helping youth start to question authority and question what they've been told to believe and believe what they want to believe. So I think it's really cool to be on a show that is hopefully going to inspire our younger generation to be a lot stronger. And also, I just think it's fun to be teenage superheroes and to be so relatable to people in high school, and yeah, I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I think now more than ever, Ginny's right. I do think there is a way to challenge authority. Personally, I don't really agree when people like use violence to challenge authority, but I do think that you know, hopefully people will watch our show, gain inspiration from it, become more vocal about the things that they're passionate about, and for overall human rights. So hopefully this is like planting a seed in people's brains subtly, you know.
Thank you.
So the show does great by using like real life, how like Alex, he got put at like gunpoint, which they keep it very real. We know it's a superhero show, and then you have the part where Chase was about to get killed by the Fistigons. What do you think is harder for you guys, actually doing the more serious scenes when it comes to the non-fiction part of it, like real life, or more when the fiction part of it to really adapt into?
I think for me, it's the fiction part. It's the challenge as an actor. Okay, this box is growing now. Now it's glowing. Now the light is bright. Okay, everybody's doing like this, and now the light's going down, and you're looking at a giant drill in the sky. It's about right there, and just you got to picture it. So having to create these things for yourself and to make them real. Some of these things you just don't really have a good point of reference for, and that's when the imagination has to come through, and you have to make it real and make it real quickly, because if it's not real for me, it's not going to be real for anybody, any of you. So that's been the biggest challenge for me.
Yeah, and I think when you do a first season of a show, it's even harder, because like Ryan just said, especially, I'm not sure for those who have seen episode 10, but the downtown lot where the giant cylinder was, obviously that was not there when we were shooting. There was a green carpet, circular carpet, and that was basically, it was like, okay, here you go, act. And especially for like my character with my Fistigons, obviously when I'm shooting, it's all post-production. Those things don't fly out of my gloves. So it's basically you're making an educated guess on how it's going to look. And obviously we never saw the show. We saw episode, like all of the episodes at the same time you guys saw them. So we really had no idea how it was going to turn out. So thankfully, Marvel do excel in special effects, obviously, and thankfully on this show we got a great team who now we can go into the second season, I think, with a lot more confidence. And also, to the point of, little story, when I do the Fistigon thing, I was doing it a few times throughout the season, so I'm like, every time I was doing it, I was like, whoosh. And the producer came up to me at the end of the season and she goes, Gregg, you do realize you don't need to make your own sound effects. Yeah. So now, second season, you live and you learn, Silent Fistigoning will be happening second season.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Hi. If someone made a movie about your life, who would you want to, play you?
Does he have to be an actor? Or anyone?
An actor.
Oh, an actor.
That's a good question.
Or, anyone, if you can answer it. It's fine.
It's easier. I do like David Beckham a lot.
Oh my God.
I do.
Oh my God.
I do like David Beckham. He's just a lad. I like him.
Wow.
I think I would pick, I like Hayley Williams a lot. I think she's really cool and has a lot of fun energy. I think I'd pick her.
Denzel Washington.
Thank you.
So I have two questions for Jenny.
Okay.
The first one is, how do you feel about the relationship between Carolina and Gertz? When they first started, it was kind of tense and they didn't really like each other. So your point of view on that and how you want it to develop in the second season. And I'll let you answer that and then I'll ask you the second one.
My relationship with Gertz was kind of complicated. I think at the beginning of the season, we both had a lot of resentment built up toward each other over the years that we hadn't been speaking. So I think we just needed to start speaking the same language again and get on the same page and get a little bit more respect for each other. But one of my favorite parts of this season was watching our relationship go. And I love working with Ariella, and her and I are really close in real life too. So I think the more Josh and Steph saw how good we were getting along in real life, the more they started to write for that. And one of my favorite parts of this season was when me and Ariella and Old Lace got to go and try to break into Chase's house that one night. So it's awesome.
And the second question is with the Nico scenes, when you first, like the first and second kisses, was it tense for both you and Lyrica to like figure out how you're gonna play that chemistry, or did you guys already kind of like just go and make it happen?
We were so excited. Yeah, because like I said, we had been hoping for that to happen all season. So Lyrica and I were like so pumped to finally make that moment happen.
And I remember telling Ginny this. Well, not the whole story, but I'm about to give you a compliment, so don't worry. But I remember when Ginny and Lyrica were doing that scene, I remember thinking to myself in that moment, I mean, Lyrica's a fantastic actress, but it wasn't on her coverage, so I couldn't particularly see her face. But I remember looking at Ginny, and there was such, I was watching the monitors, and there was such purity in her performance, where that was the moment where I knew that Virginia Gardner is a superstar. And
Thanks, Gregg.
like really like so like beautifully pure, still, sweet, like it was amazing. And so that relationship is so loved in the show because of also not just the comic characters, it's also their performances. They really do nail it, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What a sweet boy.
Yeah.
Also, Lyrica is so lovely, and her and I get along so well. It's so easy to have great chemistry with her, too. So Lyrica and I were super excited about that scene.
Yeah, you both do it like beautifully. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, hi, for Ginny. What did you think about Carolina and Nico's development, like as a relationship in the show?
Well, after I read the comic books, I was really excited about that relationship, and obviously you never really get to see that developed in the comic books. So Lyrica and I were really pushing from that from the beginning of the season, because her and I really wanted to make that happen, especially when her and I became so close in real life, too. We were like, when are we going to get to kiss? When are we going to get to make this moment happen? And we kept bugging Josh and stuff about it, and they just kept kind of saying, like, just wait, it might happen. And then we finally got the script, and we're, like, over the moon about it. And I'm really excited. I don't really know what's going to happen next season. I think right now she could go Alex, she could go Carolina. I hope she goes Carolina, so I'm excited to see what happens for next season.
Okay, cool. Also, for Gregg, you said you like David Beckham.
Love David Beckham.
So are you into like soccer?
Yeah, I used to play, like, as a kid, I used to play, so in America, they do it differently. They kind of, like, draft their best players from college, whereas in England, they scout young kids from a very young age. So from the age of, like, 7 to, like, 14, I was playing for the equivalent of, like an English version of, like, you know, like the Lakers?
Yeah.
So, like, their kid team, but, like, for soccer. Terrible example. But yeah, so I used to play very seriously. It was my whole life, and then I naturally got into acting. And then I screwed up my knees a couple of times. But yeah, apart from that, I love football and David Beckham.
So what are your favorite teams? Like
Arsenal.
Okay.
Yeah, Arsenal.
Good.
And I hate everybody else.
Okay. Thank you.
I wanted to ask you about the size of the cast and how magnificent that is to see so many people as regulars on a show. I especially like how they have done the first season where you're getting glimpses of each character. It's not like one or two getting a lot of the attention. So I really enjoyed that part of the show so far, but it seems like all of you just are wonderful as a group, just working on your characters, and it just really is nice to see those on the social media, the interactions that you've had behind the scenes and stuff like that when those come out. So what is it like working with that many people on a show?
Well, I will say this, before we got started, we had a big hey guys, we're going to do this show bowling party. And so at the end of the evening, it's like the Pride members were at one table and the Runaways were at another table. And we were like, look at that, because we were looking at the chemistry that they had, and we were all like excited because this was early on, and we knew that it was just going to translate on screen because it was so genuine and you could just see the level of their engagement. It was just really cool to see, and I think it played out exactly like we thought. Their chemistry is amazing, and it translates to screen, and you buy that these are friends from way back. But working with this big cast, it has, the best part of that is these are amazing people. I don't care who I work with on any given day because I know I'm going to laugh. I know I'm going to have a great conversation. I know we're going to have a good time. I know I'm going to be pushed creatively because everybody's good. But when it's all of us, those are some long days. Because, you know, any given scene when somebody's talking, somebody else is reacting, and you got to get it from this angle, and you got to get it from that angle, and oh wow, Jenny's about to glow, so we got special effects in. Oh, here comes a dinosaur, now everybody's reaction to the dinosaur and everything. So from a technical standpoint, it's challenging, but the pros, being able to work with an amazing, large group of talented, smart, creative people is just a really cool blessing, and it doesn't always happen like that in this industry.
Yeah, I remember when the 6 of us, Runaways, went to dinner after we got cast. It was after rehearsals, and we all sat down and, you know, we completely got on and everyone was lovely. But we did basically say that as a group, it is very important to put in 150%. And you basically, any show or any crew or any team is only as strong as its weakest link. And thankfully, I think the reason why the show actually turned out very well is because we don't have a weak link. We all put in 150%. We're all kind to each other, we're respectful to each other. And we all get it. You know, we all get that, you know, this is our workplace, and so we have to, it's our responsibility to create a nice environment between us, but also the 100 people who have families at home, who also, they love Runaways and they love Marvel, but they also want to go home and eat dinner with their families and things like that. So I think we just have a very respectful relationship to every crew member. I didn't hear one argument or one person being, I mean, minus a couple of people, who then no longer probably will come back on the show. Overall, it was so, everyone was just so polite to one another, and it was just such a joy to go to work, you know, and just have fun with these people.
With season 2 being 13 episodes, are you going to have to start filming soon?
We don't know. No. You'll probably know before us.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Hi, again. So my question is, what would your character's yearbook quotes be?
Good question.
Well, this one's got us stumped, doesn't it? Oh, boy.
You know, what's funny about that question is I think right before we did our press junkets, that was like one of the possible questions we might get asked, and I left it blank because I couldn't think of anything. Wow. Geoffrey Wilder.
By the way, I'm so happy Ryan's talking right now because it's allowing me time to think
Geoffrey
too.
Me too. Wilder.
Keep going, Ryan.
Geoffrey Lawrence Wilder. I just gave him a middle name.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Maybe we should ask another question.
I don't have another question. Look, you guys don't have an answer, and I don't have a question. So like,
we're stumped. We're all stumped.
Yeah.
Stare at each other. It's fine.
If you had to use a movie quote as your yearbook thing, what would it be?
Oh, I know.
That's easier. Okay.
I think I know. This is awful. I don't know why I'm saying this. This is stupid. You can fly from Peter Pan. Isn't that a quote from Peter Pan or something? There we go. lamest answer ever, but that's what I got.
That's good. That's good. Gregg?
Lainey is also on the other side of that curtain. Lainey, what was that quote we were talking about earlier? About, oh, there you are. Hello, what was it? That's the one. Fista here today, Fista gone's tomorrow. Thank you, Lainey.
Great answer.
I take complete credit.
Yeah.
Thank you. Your turn.
And take a drive on the Wilder side.
Oh.
Yeah.
We did it. I like it.
That's the best I got. I'm sorry.
No, that's good.
Thank
That's good.
you.
Be confident with that.
Hi there. So my friend brought me along to this panel. I haven't seen the show, but I'm definitely going to after this. I wanted to ask, because I'm hearing there's a character named Gert. Do you call him Go-Gurt or not? Like, because that's a prime opportunity.
That is so funny. I'm going to start calling her Go-Gurt now. That's amazing.
It's a great opportunity. I don't know if you brought it up yet.
Thank you. I really appreciate you for that. Thank you for that.
Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us and answer our questions. If you guys, thank you. Do you guys have any more signings or anything today?
I think we may, I can't speak on behalf of us, but yeah, I think we're going to just pop back to the table for about
But you're going to be at the table?
15, 20, 30 minutes maybe.
Oh, okay, awesome. So make sure you go by, say hi, tell them they're great, maybe buy something, take a picture with them. But yeah, no, thank you guys so much. And are you guys signing tomorrow as well?
We'll be here tomorrow.
Yep, be here tomorrow.
Fantastic. So everyone come by, buy some stuff, and give them a big round of applause. Thank you guys so much.
Guys.
Hey, wasn't that fun? I know I had a great time. If you want to see some more great videos just like that, you can click right over here. Also, click here to subscribe to our channel and leave a thumbs up and a comment in the section below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.